Hello everybody! In this tutorial we're going to go over a couple different ways that you can create choropleth maps with QGIS. In the first example we're going to import a shapefile and we will create the choropleth with just the data in the files that accompany the shapefile. In the second example we'll go ahead and import a shapefile and then we'll do a join to a CSV file that has extra data. And the choropleth map that we will create will be population for Indiana counties. The shapefiles that we're going to use are here on our desktop, and the main shapefile is right here with the extension .shp. And a quick note, make sure that you keep this shapefile with the other accompanying files. To import our shapefile, we can go here to Open Data Source Manager, click on the vector. We can leave the encoding as UTF-8, and then we'll click on the three dots here for Browse. The shapefile that we want is on our desktop, in this folder, right here. We'll click Open, then we click Add. For this pop-up, we can leave it as is. Click OK, and Close. And here we have our map with all of the counties. Now the first thing you might like to do is add some labels. So let's go over here to our file and double click. Then here for the labels, let's click the drop down and we'll go to Single Labels. We're going to label with the name uppercase. Apply and OK. The next thing we want to do is to go ahead and take a look at the attribute table that accompanies our shapefile. To do that, go ahead and click on your layer, and then we can go up here to Open Attribute Table. Now, the shapefile that we pulled in includes the counties for Indiana. Along with that shapefile, we have a bunch of census data, including the population for each county. And that's right here, with the title Pop 2000. And this is what we're going to use to create our choropleth map. Now, if you wanted to add data to this to create a choropleth map, we'll go over an example of how to do that here in just a little bit. Okay, so to create the choropleth map, you can double click on your file, or you can right click and go to Properties. Then we want to go to Symbology, and for this drop down right here, we're going to click on Graduated. The column that we want to use includes the population data for 2000, right here. We'll go ahead and leave the legend format as is. We'll come back to the precision. We want the method to be color, and we'll leave the color ramp as is, going from white to dark red. So the lower the population, the lighter the color will be. The higher the population for each county, the darker the color. Then, the next thing we want to do is choose our mode. And for the mode, we want the natural breaks or jinx. And you can play around with these to see which mode looks best and which mode you'd like to use. Now to get rid of these decimals, let's go ahead and click the down arrow for the precision. So we'll leave it like that, and let's click Apply. Now from a quick glance, you can see there's a lot of white. To give us a little bit more color in our map and to tell us a little bit more about the populations, let's increase our classes from 5 to 6. Then go ahead and click Apply and click OK. And now we have our choropleth map. And you can quickly see that the highest populated county is Marion County, followed by Lake, St. Joseph, and Allen. Other highly populated counties include Tippecanoe, Elkhart, Porter, Hamilton, and so on, with the lowest populated counties in the white. Okay. Now let's move on to our second example, where we're going to pull in some CSV data that will include some updated population estimates. In this example, we used population that was kind of old from the year 2000. In our next example, the CSV data will include population estimates for the year 2018. Let's just go ahead and close this. And we'll start with a new project. So once again, the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and pull in the shapefile. And as we mentioned, one way to do that is to use the Open Data Source Manager, or you can go to Layer, Add layer, add vector layer. Click on the three dots for the browse, and we want the shapefile. Open, and add. OK, and close. Let's add our labels. We'll click Apply, and OK. Now let's go ahead and look at the new data that we're going to import and join with our shapefile. So currently we have the data in an Excel spreadsheet, and it includes the state, the county, the ID, and the estimated population for 2018. Now this column right here is the important column, and this is what we're going to use to do the join. Let's open up the attribute table. And the column that we're going to use in the attribute table to do the join is right here. And these numbers are just ID numbers that correspond to each county. Let's go ahead and sort this alphabetical. So this column right here and this column right here are the same. And that's what you want. You want something in common in both files that you can use to do the join. So the next thing we want to do is to pull this data into QGIS. And one way to do that is to pull it in as a CSV file. So let's go ahead and convert this to a CSV. In Excel, you can go to File, Save As. Then for the file format, we're going to choose CSV UTF-8. We'll save this to our desktop. So we can close this. We'll go ahead and leave the attribute table open. So you can see here we have our CSV file. And we'll import that into QGIS in just a second. Okay, so we mentioned there's a field or a column that's in common in our attribute table and our CSV file. And that's the field that will be used to do the join. Now, if you hold your cursor over the title for the column, you can see that this type is a string with a length of 5. The type of the ID in the CSV file will be an integer or a whole number. And just to be safe, let's go ahead and convert this string to an integer to make sure both types are the same. Now, if you don't want to do this, you can try it without it, and it might work. But just to be safe, let's go ahead and convert this string to an int to make sure both types are the same and make sure it doesn't cause any problems with the join. So to convert this column from a string to an int, we want to go over here to Toggle Editing Mode. Then we want to go to Open Field Calculator. We're going to create a new field. We'll just name it ID. It's going to be a whole number integer with the length of 5. To do the conversion, we're going to use toInt. Then in round brackets and double quotes, we'll put in the title of the field or column, STFID. Now we can click OK, and that new field or column will be added at the end, right here. And you can see now it's an integer or a whole number. Let's go ahead and save those changes. And we can click the editing mode off. Let's go ahead and close the attribute table. Now let's go ahead and import our CSV file. Let's go to Open Data Source Manager. And then we're going to go to Delimited Text. We'll click on the three dots for Browse. The CSV file is on our desktop right here. We'll click Open. We can leave the layer name and the encoding as is. We'll leave it as CSV. And in this case, we have no geometry. We'll go ahead and leave the coordinate reference system as WGS84, epsg 4326. And we'll click Add. And close. Okay, so now we're ready to do our join. So to do that, we'll double click on our shapefile layer here. Then we go to Joins, And then we want to click on the plus. The join layer will be the CSV file name. The join field is going to be ID, and you'll notice that there's a number 123. That tells you that it is a whole number integer type. The target field will also be ID, which also has the whole number integer type. Then, for the join fields, we just want the population. And we'll give it a custom field name prefix with EST for estimated, because it's an estimated population. Let's click OK, and apply, and OK. To double check that that field was added, let's go back to our attribute table. And you can see that it's been added right here. Okay, now we're ready to create our Choropleth map. Let's go ahead and double click on the shapefile layer. Once again, let's go to Symbology, click the drop down, and go to Graduated. The column we're going to use is the estimated population for 2018. We'll go ahead and leave the method and the color ramp as is. Let's choose natural breaks, get rid of the decimals for the precision. Let's make our classes 6, and apply, and OK. And here we have our Choropleth map that was created by doing a join with new data. That's all we have for this tutorial. Join us again next time.